Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Jessica Jones Season 2, Episode 2. It's called AKA Freak Accident. So, full spoilers for the episode. I'm a little bit tired, not quite woken up yet. Luckily, I was paying attention to the last episode here, and I had some Red Bull at the ready.
This is a follow-up to my joke about the Pringles, isn't it? From whatever that was in.
What was that? I can't remember.
Maybe the Tick, I don't know.
May have been the tech.
Or a news episode. It was in something that we recently did.
It's more follow-up to the Red Bull conversation.
No, I get that, but you intentionally doing it on screen after I said that, clearly.
To mimic Jessica Jones, though, what I should have done is sort of hide the logo.
You should have done, but you're a shameless shill and you will take Red Bull's money.
I will. Send me the check, Red Bull. Send me the check.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Episode 2. Much like episode 1, I have some things I like. I have some things that I dislike. I have one thing that I love. I have.
There was one thing that I was going through stuff. Oh, really? Please no. Please don't let this be this season.
And then let's just say it swerved, shall we say.
I have never been more grateful to have been swerved.
And then there's also one or two things I outright hated too. So, still a mixed bag. I still think the pacing is a problem. I still think this was an even longer episode. I think there were scenes.
I think this is as long as it gets, though. They're all. Good. I had a look at the times. They're all pretty consistent in the 50 to 55 range.
Okay.
There's none over an hour.
That's good. But there was some scenes where, like, whether it's Trish with her mother at brunch, they feel like go on for too long, or if it's Jessica snooping around a funeral. Well, she's not aware it's a funeral when she goes there, admittedly, but when she goes there.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
That said, my dark sense of humour did laugh quite a bit when she flipped someone out of a wheelchair who has no legs.
Yeah, and the follow-up line is, look, I said I wouldn't hit someone in a wheelchair.
You're not in a wheelchair anymore.
You're not in a wheelchair anymore.
That does appeal to my sense of humour. As someone whose father spent most of my life in a wheelchair, I enjoy a good wheelchair joke.
Let's be honest. Wheelchair jokes can be funny, like everything else.
Absolutely can be. I had many.
I'm sure you cracked many at your father's expense, because what child wouldn't?
Oh God, of course I did. Meals on Wheels was a frequent favourite at dinner time.
It's a staple, isn't it?
But hey, so where do we begin with here? So, do you want to start with the really bad stuff? Do you want to start with the negativity? I feel like I do.
Get out of the way.
I don't give a shit about a single thing that's going on with Hogarth right now. And the thing that particularly stood out to me as being awful is the same sad piano music from last episode came back. The first time we see her, she's in traffic and she's ignoring the phone and she's ignoring the traffic and she's sitting there and the sad music's playing. And I can just be like, this is so overdone. And then, and then it goes on for a really long time afterwards where she realises she's like holding the traffic up and she's like, oh, fine, I'm moving. And then she ignores the phone again and sits there until eventually a prostitute comes up, and that kind of leads to her having some prostitutes over at the house, and she's dancing in not slow motion, she's just dancing very slowly to the song, as we see her being delirious with the prostitute. Another scene that went on far too long as well.
No, I defended what they were setting up with Hogarth, but more to do in the last episode. I was defending the stuff they were setting up with her antagonistic relationship with Jessica going forward. I enjoyed that stuff last episode.
Oh, none of that in here.
Oh, no. And I agreed with you last. I didn't give a shit that she was ill. That stuff I didn't care about.
Here's the thing with Hogarth, is she's always been a dubious character. She's never been like a hero. She's always been morally grey to borderline villainous, depending on the situation.
Yeah, she's been morally grey, but she's typically come down on the side that we want her to. So it's like, okay, you're skirting the rules a bit, but you get away with it.
But it's never felt heroic. She's never been likeable. She's never been a likeable person.
It's very slimy.
She's slimy, yeah. So, you have to make me care that she's dying first before you hit me with the emotion of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. There was just way too much of this okay, she's crashing and burning, and I'm like, okay, cool, I guess.
Yeah, I really, like, every scene she was in this episode, I just did not give a shit.
I said, it was the one scene I really had a problem with her last episode. And that was all it was this episode with her, so it was just like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't... And I know this is the thing. I think they spent too much time on her and our relationship stuff in the first season, but I think especially this season, I came back and I'm like, I didn't really need her to be a main character again. Like, it would have been okay if she just kind of popped up every now and again when it was relevant to the plot.
Yeah, I was okay with her being a main character and seeing what she would do, but not to this extent like this. I
Yeah.
didn't need this plot. At least not this early, anyway.
The other thing that I think, much like last episode, there's a couple last episodes. This episode, I think, has one really big thing that is just murky in a writing perspective that I think is really strange.
Okay.
So Trish gets Malcolm, and I thought it was cool they were working together. She's like, "Hey Malcolm, come and help me with this thing." And she's going to see this old director, who we find out later on kind of like assaulted her when she was 15, and she's trying to use that for leverage to get some information at the hospital, and because he gives charity money there, and it's a whole thing. And the scene where he brings it up, I mean, it was kind of obvious where it was going, but Malcolm like having to hear it and not knowing about it beforehand, like I almost feel like just for the sake of making sure he didn't like accidentally make a noise, Trish should have probably said, "Hey, look, this is what's going to come up."
Yeah.
In the scene.
I think the fact that she warns, like, look, you're not going to like what you hear.
Yeah.
That was kind of enough, I guess, for him to be prepared for the worst.
Yeah. But no, it worked well enough because it put. Because last episode you were giving me shit because I was complaining that the Whizzer, not the Wizard, the Whizzer, we were corrected in the comments. I thought I heard Wizard, but
I thought I heard both last episode,
Yeah.
and then you said Wizard, so I was just like, all right, I guess
Whizzer,
it's Wizard.
Whizzer absolutely makes more sense. Admittedly, thinking it was a Wizard at first, I'm not sure which one I think is funnier now. They're both pretty funny.
I think they both kind of make sense.
But do you know what it is? I think it's because the way they portray him in the show. At least I know he's a character in the comics, and I don't know what he's like in there. But at least in the show, he's the kind of guy who looks like he plays D&D. So the Wizard was funny because of that. Like it felt like he was. He was. This is my role playing character. I'm the Wizard.
And if nothing else, the speed. I know it's science based, but you kind of go. It's kind of magical to go. Okay, Wizard powers.
Oh yeah, sure. You'd pretend they were magical if nothing else.
Right. There's a link that when I heard that, I didn't question it.
Anyway, so I was giving you shit last episode because I thought it'd been funnier if they did the joke early on where he actually had super speed, but you were like, no, but we're in Jessica's shoes because we find out when she does. I argued with that. I do actually think it works better here where we're in Malcolm's shoes, where we don't find out what happened until he does, because where we get the shock along with him. I think that works better in this context.
I like it both times. So.
Largely because it's not like there's another scene where I thought would have been more effective. Which is the problem from last episode, is I thought it would have been more effective in that other scene. Whereas here, no, this works with Malcolm finding out along with us at the same time, and we're kind of shocked along with him. Well, not shocked, kind of like mildly shocked, but also mildly just disappointed that it's the obvious thing that it was going to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
No, that's not a critique of the writing, that's just a critique of, oh, he's probably just going to be some pervert.
It's a critique of life.
It's a critique of society.
It's a critique of, especially the last year, where okay, we just expect this now.
Yeah, it's basically Me Too. Just to sum it up in a phrase.
Yeah.
As Trish said, Me Too, or so that was the thing, and I thought that was effective in that sense. That worked. Here's what was murky about all this to me. Not what was actually happening with them. The other side of the episode, like once Jessica's done with assaulting people at funerals who don't have legs, and she's on the case, her and Griffin, Trish's boyfriend, start becoming really concerned that Trish is not responding to them, and she starts to look for it as if she's missing. And we get this big scene where Trish comes over to the apartment, and he's there, and they talk about, oh, it was me, I drove her to it, I dared her to chase the story, I said, grab life by the balls, blah, blah, blah. And funny I bring up balls because there was a lot of ball humour because he kept saying his balls were tingling. Like, just say spider sense. I mean, I suppose he can't say that because Spider-Man's a real thing in this world and it's not a pop culture reference. But that's what it felt like. It felt like they were trying to, like, oh, I want to say spider sense. Oh, we can't write that because that doesn't make sense because Spider-Man is, like, secret.
That's not a thing yet. Give it a couple of years of Spider-Man being around and that being, in some interviews, you can say it then.
Yeah, but right now that would just be weird. So they had to dance around it and just said his balls were tingling. So we got jokes. But they're like, no, Trish, I've drove her to this. It's like, I've been looking through her files. I need to find her. Like, you let me find her. Like, or, oh, should we see her mother? Oh, her mother with brunch. Oh, that bitch. I'm going to go see her. And it was a whole thing. Here's what played weird for me from a writing perspective with this whole scene. Is that up until now, we've been watching what Trish has been doing with Malcolm, and there's been no danger. There's been nothing. They're just doing what they're doing. We've not even seen a scene of Trish ignoring her phone. That comes later when she looks at her phone and we see that there's a bunch of messages. Yeah. But at this point in the episode, there is absolutely zero thing in Trish's plot to suggest that she is remotely in danger or that there is anything going on that is actually for any other character to worry about. And yet we get a scene with Jessica and Griffin be like, oh, she's missing, something's going wrong. And so it felt weird.
I think the way I'll defend it, I guess, is that At this point, Jess has already kind of got some inkling that Trish is kind of in danger, right? So she is inherently concerned already. So this is confirmation bias of, oh, she's not answering. Oh, something's already happened. So she's panicking and fretting.
Oh no, this is the problem with this. Again, you can explain it logically with points. You can say she's this way because of this. My criticism here is that as a viewer watching a TV show where I'm supposed to be guided by the writing from one emotion to the other, it's conflicting with what I'm seeing in Trish's actual scenes.
Okay.
I mean, we do see once or twice we see that Will's
She's being
watching
watched,
from
yeah.
a distance, but otherwise there's nothing there to actually. Obviously, by the end of the episode, we see she is in danger. There is something after her, and obviously we
I
get
think
to the Will
that's it,
stuff.
though. I think the Will stuff is supposed to be the hint of the danger. Like, I'm not saying it pulls it off as well as it could, but the idea that, okay, we know he's watching her, we know what he did to her last season.
I think
That why she's in danger?
it would work for me in two different ways. It would work with me either if we already see she's in danger in some way and it's actually properly tense and we want her to find her because she actually is in danger, or we don't know where she is, it's a complete mystery to us and we're wondering with the characters, where is she? But it's neither
that's
or.
fair.
It's this weird middle ground where we see her and she's kind of fine. Like,
Yeah.
and Malcolm's with her. It's not like she's on her own either.
No, I get what you're saying.
So it played weird to me. I was like, that scene where they're just panicking. I'm like, because at this point we're not even at the point where she's in danger yet, because we're still. I don't even know if she's confronted the director yet.
I think it's after she's confronted the director, but before Malcolm has his moment.
Yeah, where he goes up and punches the director. Yeah,
I think it's there.
yeah, but but we weren't at that point in her plot yet, so it played really weird to me. All the stuff at the end of that plot though, where she basically realizes that she's being watched. She finds Will, shoots him in the leg.
Good.
Jessica shows up, looks for them, finds her with Will tied up on the ground, and he's bleeding. She's got a gun on him, and basically Will's like, "No, I'm here to protect her because they're after her. Like, I heard them talking. I was in a cell for a year, and I heard them, and they're sending some monster after her. That's who killed the doctor. That's who killed the Whizzer. Like, I'm here to protect." And Jess is like, "Well, you're not dead yet," and so maybe he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's some truth to this. And I'm like, oh god, they're setting up Will as this big redemptive thing.
I know, and I was like, oh,
do you know,
please.
Well, I don't know why it is, but for some reason I keep wanting to call him Paul, and I don't know why.
I have no answer for that. I'm sorry.
Is it because it's close to Pill? I keep saying Pill Guy. Is that what it is?
It probably is.
But I keep wanting to call him Paul. He looks like a Paul, but
I don't recognize him from anything as a Paul.
nah, me neither. It's weird. For some reason, I've just got this thing. I want to call him Paul, but he's like, "Oh, I'll stay back. Jessica, go." And she, and Trish even gives him the gun and says, "Here, take this, and be safe. Do what you got to do." And Jessica's taking Trish away, and then they run away, but in the dark for a little bit. They come back and they find him dead. He's next, like, full on Exorcist twist.
They're like, oh, hey, hang on, nothing's come for you. Why haven't they come for you? Oh, okay, they're not really here for you.
No, they're coming for him. Yeah, because it seems like there's a connection where everyone who's been killed is either informed Trish in some way or they've commented on her show in some way. But it seems like they're going after everyone who's talking to her, not necessarily her herself. At least yet, anyway. Maybe.
So far, yeah. Although that was, of course, the other rather amusing Spider-Man reference.
Oh, go on.
With the Whizzer on his video interview message.
Oh, his vlog. He sends to Trish, yeah.
Yeah.
With great power comes great mental illness. Honestly, the Whizzer is probably my favourite part of this season so far. Outside of the blunder of when to reveal he had the speed. I like him.
I mean, yeah, sure. He's definitely the best new element, by far.
Oh, best new element, sure. Because I think, like... I think he's added a little bit of humanity to this whole thing, the heart, where he's this innocent guy who seems kind of likeable, but he's kind of like, there's some humanity there. Whereas a lot of the other characters, I feel like, I mean new characters here, Griffin, he's still just kind of bland, British accent, the guy. I'm not really feeling him yet.
No, I agree. He's fine. He's inoffensive, but he's nothing to like.
Cheng's kind of like, I like him a little bit because I like the actor from another show, but the character himself, he's just kind of...
Yeah, he has... At least the actor has some presence to bring to it, to the character, which helps me like him.
Whereas Whizzer was likeable right from the get-go, even though he seemed crazy. He had a sort of likeable craziness to him, and then... He's been killed, and we hear his messages, and it's like, there's some truth to this. Like, having powers would probably make some people, be
Struggle,
unstable.
yeah.
They'd struggle with the dealing with that. And that's kind of what the season's about in a lot of ways, is Jessica dealing with what she is, because she hates people calling her a vigilante. She's like fighting with like bartenders. She's having sex in the bathroom and getting upset when he keeps talking. So it's like, oh, we're done.
Yeah.
So this is a whole thing. So I don't know. I kind of like that they're building this big bad. At least so far, this big bad we're not seeing has a bit some presence, because
I agree.
just snap Paul's neck like that, or Will's neck. Sorry, Will's neck.
I'm so glad you said that you wanted to call him Paul. Otherwise, I'd be like, "Who the hell's Paul?"
It's almost like I set that up so I could pay it off later. I didn't, but it's almost like I did.
Yeah.
Which obviously is great because we hate that character. So I cheered. Like
for like 80% of this episode, I was genuinely worried that they were setting him up to be the big bad, and I was going, "Yeah, but this is too early in the season. He's got to be the." The first arc thing that we get over and done with. That'll be the positive I can come out of this episode with. He'll be done in a few episodes.
He's done by the end of this episode, so we're good with that.
Yeah, he gets points for that.
I really hope, though, this thing they're setting up, though, is for the whole season, and it's not just a case of, we'll have this wrapped up and done with episode 6 or 7.
I agree. I feel like it probably will be the whole season for this show. Because, we've had... Some have done, like Daredevil season 2 and Luke Cage did the split. Iron Fist mostly did the one. Kind of did some weird side things, but it was still technically one thing.
Oh yeah, Iron Fist just paused the plot for about 4 episodes and then came back to it.
Yeah. They
don't have a trip to China that accomplished nothing from what I recall.
But just because the long form investigation, I think, suits the show.
Here's the thing. Oh, it does, because she's a PI, right? So that works. And I'm okay with it being a PI show with superpowers. That's fine. What I think... What I would do right now, if I'm, even just... Not even rewriting anything, if I'm just editing this to make the show better, right? I would cut out Hogarth almost entirely, and I would trim about 30% to maybe 50% of each scene. Not... The varies scene to scene.
Pretty excessive, yeah.
But
I don't think I would quite that far.
But I think you could easily cut like 15 minutes out of each episode.
Yeah, maybe. I agree with definitely the Hogarth stuff in this episode.
Which right away is already like 8 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe they give her the one scene, not quite as dramatic as melodramatic. Let's be real. What it is, the one in the car. Yeah. I think that serves a purpose in the ongoing story of her in some regards, but much shorter than it is. The other scenes, I think, kind of meaningless.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I'd cut all the prostitute stuff. I just have the one moment in the car where she's not paying attention and then she realizes and starts driving again, and that's it. Done. Cut.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Cut there. That's all we needed.
Yeah.
And tone down the melodramatic music a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, there's other things I'd trim down a little bit here or there.
Yeah, here or there. I don't think it's every scene. But
speaking of brand new characters, the super character.
Do you know what? I'm bored of this guy.
Yeah, I was already tempted to be bored of him in the first episode, but this episode where the cops come to talk to her and she's like, "Oh, let me just quickly deal with this. You think I might have had something to do with the Whizzer's death, right? Here, buddy, you saw the thing from across the street. Tell them." I was like, "I didn't see anything. I didn't see you there at all."
I know. I'm like, oh, forced drama. Piss off.
It is. It's exactly that. It's forced drama. Oh my! I'm in a legal battle for my kid's custody, and I'm going to win. And
I'm like, yeah. This isn't going to stop you winning. Just saying, yeah, she was there. That's it. Job done. I say Griffin is inoffensive. I don't like him, but I don't dislike him because he hasn't done anything to annoy me yet. Mm-hmm. This guy, nah, he's on the shit list.
So I'd cut him entirely. I'd cut the entire scene where as much as it was funny when the police are like, "Oh, he came to you for help and now he's dead. That must sting." And then they mentioned, there was a police report put in that he thought that someone was out to get him. It's like, that must sting for you now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That was funny, but I'd still I'd take out the cop scene. I'd take out, obviously, including going to see the super guy, and cut all that. Yeah, so I think not even trimming the scenes, just cutting that scene, all the Hogarth stuff, and then the other scene with the super where she confronts him about it. I think that's already like 10 minutes, if not.
It probably
15.
is, which is why I don't feel like the need to cut the individual scenes quite as much, because I feel, for me at least, if I just cut out those entire chunks, I'm not going to be feeling a pacing
It
issue.
probably would be. I still think the pacing in the scenes themselves is a bit on the lax side,
Oh, that's
but
fair. But I don't think it
admittedly,
was anywhere near as bad if you remove the actual offensive elements.
that is absolutely true. If you cut out like the 15 minutes of the scenes that I just cut entirely, then yeah, I probably wouldn't be complaining as much. But hey,
Yeah.
before we go though, I actually just thought of a way to fix, because my big problem here was they're worried about where Trish is, and we're like, but she's fine so far. Like, my big
Yeah.
problem is that the mood of both plots didn't seem to like actually hit each other. Now maybe this would make the episode feel really 50-50 in terms of its structure, but maybe what would have worked would be to put most of the Trish plot in the first half of the episode, and then have it sort of switch over to mainly be the Jessica plot. You know, maybe have it intercut with the funeral stuff a little bit, but once it gets to the point where Jessica's, maybe have the scene where she's on the laptop and she's like, oh, the connection is Trish. Someone might be after Trish. Have that intercut right as she's like, like finding Will and like getting in danger, and then we don't see Trish until Jessica comes to find her later.
No, that's fair. I think ultimately you could go the other way around as well. Like you can keep it intercut in with Trish's stuff, with the brunch and things like that. And once she leaves her mother, because that's the first time she ignores the phone call. I think that's when you can switch over to Jessica, and you can see her getting more and more agitated and her confirmation bias kicking in, and then you can switch over to Trish, and it seems like it's fine. It can almost play as an ironic humor of, oh, she's overreacting, until it gets towards the end where it's like, oh, okay, no, she was justified.
Maybe. I
I
don't
think
know.
like either way, I think would be better than the actual result.
I think what's funny here though is we can fix my problem here with just moving scenes around and editing.
It definitely feels like an editing problem.
So we'll see what they do with this. We'll see what they do with this big bad they're building up. We won't be recording an episode or review of this tomorrow, and by tomorrow I mean Saturday, because this might go up relatively late, so it might technically be Saturday by the time you see this. But we won't be recording one on Saturday, but we should be back to recording these reviews on Sunday and going one day from there. So yeah, that's episode 2 of Jessica Jones. And we'll wrap that up. So, so let us know what you think of the episode in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can do that over there. There's a link in the description. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?